everybody. This is the first ever breaking down a bottle with the Westfield Wine Vault staff. And with me today, I have two fantastic palates and noses.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
We're going to be silly
Oh, you can be
on
silly.
breaking down the bottle.
Good luck.
I can't take Andy seriously.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, I know what the wine is today. Every once in a while, we'll have somebody else pick the wine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the wine, red glass, so that should be easy to figure out if it's a red or white. And we are going to discuss it. We're going to break it down. We're going to have fun like we do everything here at the Wine Vault. We're going to talk about its structure, things that, how to break down what a wine is in a bottle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk, we will reveal, once you guys guess the exact region and grade.
Oh, and year.
And vintage.
And vintage.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about things that really matter. And so we're going to discuss things like ageability, like its drinking window. How long should it be decanted if it should be decanted? What you would pair it with? Things like that. So, are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea what's going on yet.
Can't wait! No, actually, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. We've seen things similar to this on SommTV.
Absolutely.
Where they
Very
pull out a
inspired.
bottle, and it's always entertaining.
And we do
And you learn
this anyway, but now we decided that we would take a video of it. So lucky you.
Always check to see if the wine is corked.
Very good.
We're fine.
I think it's a red wine. I don't get a whole lot off of it, but it's not. It's good. Oh, no, I'm sure. No, not fault. Yes.
I'm sure it's good.
I don't know.
And we will determine whether or not it is good, very good, or outstanding. All right. So brand newly opened bottle. So we're going to pour just a little bit. I'm going to check the color. Jules, check the color for me. What are you looking for?
Sort of the color depth. It's lighter, darker. Like to put some white paper under it. How much you can see through.
All right.
May I?
You may.
Yeah, so inspiration, like Bruce said, inspiration for this came from Drink a Bottle. Several different shows on SommTV. If you don't have SommTV, I would do that. It's excellent. SommTV. All right, so what we're doing is we're looking at the color. We're determining intensity, depth, color. Is it garnet? Is it ruby? What do those things mean? We'll chat about that. All right, here we go. So first impression.
It's lighter
Lighter.
in color.
Brilliant. It's very, very clear.
Okay.
And it just kind of sparkles. It has a very, very nice. Just looks like it's very pleasant.
All right.
And lighter. That's what my initial impression would be. Like, this is not going to be a real heavy wine.
Okay.
Right. Like, what's the word? How do you pronounce it? I'm going to be able to say it now.
Try. Bruce will fix this for us.
Make fool of
Like-
yourself.
Opaque.
Yeah, but how do you say with the IT one?
Opacity.
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 I don't
Opacity.
Is that a word?
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's a word. It is today if it's not. I think it is, guys. But I feel like that is lighter.
Look that up at home and call
Look that
us.
up. Everyone can make fun of me. I dyed my hair blonde so that way I could really,
So you can be like me.
so I could go with it.
All right.
Let's not get into here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's a touchy subject for Bruce. Okay. So so light. Pretty much can see detail through. If I can see detail through a wine, I know it would be on the lighter side. A lot of times you can see through it, but you can't see detail. And then anything really deep, you can call that deep, but you can't see anything through. So yeah, beautiful looking wine. All right. First impression on the nose, Bruce?
Oh, can I go back to the color situation since we, like, if you're saying ruby or like if you were to say more garnet, then you might think that it has been aged, and this does not have that.
Correct. Yeah.
So
you're pretty
Correct.
light ruby. Ruby means you're probably in the drinking window. We'll talk about that when we get what it is.
Okay.
Great point. And if it's purple, you typically have a very young one.
right.
All right, Bruce. Aromatic?
Not super, not yet. But, I
Muted?
mean, you just opened it. So I'm swirling. Get a little, I would say, more cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of maybe a dark cherry.
Yeah, I'm getting like almost black cherry.
I was gonna say I'm getting some like black fruits. I'd say.
Anything earthy about it?
Different cherry. Initially, I was getting some earth, but like I haven't identified what that is yet.
I'm not getting there.
Like I'm not saying soil.
Maybe a touch of oak.
Yeah, I was gonna say some secondary. Probably get a little vanilla.
Mhm.
So you probably see some new oak. Maybe not 100%.
Yeah. Intriguing.
Mhm.
Shall we?
Shall.
All right. First impression?
A little spicy.
Like a pepper?
Yeah.
Peppery?
It's not fruit forward, I don't think.
You guys are a little fruity on the nose and on the palate.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's aerate.
It's got some tannins. I can get that silly feeling on my teeth and tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty light. My impression is probably pretty high in the acidity, which is making it really like refreshing to me. Dry wine for sure, but refreshing almost. Sometimes you can get a wine that's little
Cloying.
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 Cloying?
C-L-O-Y.
Kind of
I-N-G.
We're gonna need a thesaurus for this video.
Cloy.
Cloying. What's that mean?
Just heavier kind of sticks.
Okay.
You know, just where the kind of sweetness or the heaviness doesn't go away.
Okay.
So it just kind of sticks and kind of dominates.
Okay. Is that
Or
this
so.
similar to fat? I've heard that wines that don't have as much acidity, that some will call it fat wines, that they don't have enough acidity to be like crisp.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would definitely find this not fat, very crisp.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's one more flavor. Talk about almost kind of like a blueberry to it. Blueberries, dark cherries, maybe a little bit of red fruits in there. I'm kind of fruity. I'm not as fruity as Omi, but I'm not super.
This is video for.
People love that. Not as.
There's something on the finish that's not fruit related, but I can't identify it right now. But
Could be
it's
oak
got to be
related?
the oak, yeah. But it's not like strong.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I would be like, that's a little off-putting. But it's like, it's a nice finish.
Yeah.
But I get more, I guess, oaky notes on the finish.
Okay. Do you get a little vanilla? I get like
I think-
a really light vanilla. That's usually where I get vanilla. is on the
Okay.
finish. Not a ton here, but it's definitely
Yeah.
present. Bruce, you get any secondaries like oak, vanilla, clove, maybe? I don't know.
That could be, I think, the clove for sure. Like when on my first drink, like some of that spice, I think could have been clove as well.
Yeah, I'm getting. I think the acidity is almost kind of dominating things.
It really is high on rosebud. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through structure, okay? So structure is, you start with, is it a dry or a sweet wine? Okay, and then anything in between. So I think we said it's definitely dry. Okay,
Definitely.
definitely dry.
Yes.
Okay, next is acidity. Acidity is what creates saliva. We talked a lot about acidity. It's what makes a lot of wines very drinkable, especially the dry ones. You get maybe a little tinge back here, but it's almost like it slides through your palate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you'd say it's too acidic, but it's definitely, I would say, on the high end.
Yeah.
I think it definitely makes you want to take another drink. I mean, to me, that's one of the things about this is that the acidity kind of is like, okay, I need to check that out a bit further.
Yeah.
Just kind of or eat something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather drink.
Yeah.
So
Some hard
No.
cheeses with this,
So it's
I
a
think,
good
would be
acidity.
delicious.
hard
Yeah, it
cheese.
is. Awesome. Okay.
Use some Dubliner.
Definitely goes with that. You're like.
We will do pairing next time.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, so dry wine.
Acidic.
Very acidic. Next thing is tannin. You did mention tannin off the basket.
Well, yeah,
Sometimes the first impression can be pretty high.
yeah. Let me walk that back. Can I walk that back?
Yeah,
It's on video, dude.
Okay.
Of course. Of course.
I think it seemed tannic at first,
I think
but I
at
think it's
first
mostly
it's
acidic.
Yeah.
It's- yeah.
It was the
It's not really tannic.
acid.
I think
guys.
I think it's very light tannin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, alcohol content. So alcohol, we just want to kind of assess how much heat you get, whether it gets in the throat, you get it. Sometimes you can take a big whiff and get it, and if it gives you a little, you're probably close to that 14% mark, which would qualify as high.
I don't think it's high.
Okay.
Normally, I have like burning in my chest,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "What is this?"
It's only when you run do you have burning in your chest.
Yeah. So there. I don't think it's 14.
I'm down with that also. So either, I don't think it's real low, so it's like
Right.
13, 14. And again, I think it's really about integrated. So, you know,
So I think that's where we are with this, because I am getting heat. I'm getting some pretty
Are
good heat here. Not a ton. We're approaching 14, I think. So integration is, I think that's kind of where we are. The only thing I know about this is the grape in the region. That's it. I don't know anything else about this.
Oh, truthfully.
Yes, promise. So when I
Promise.
nail everything,
Yeah.
Oh,
everything
right.
else is yeah.
We're just be like, "Oh, use that."
You know, no, say it again. You know
The grape in the region.
and the region. And is it just
Just a little.
meaning grape singular or?
It is. I would never blind you on a blend. That wouldn't be fair. Maybe not today, anyway.
Right.
Okay, so
let me just throw this into you.
Yeah.
Jules is supposed to be working like a job, a real job. So we talked her into
we wrote through it.
staying around to do this. So
This is so
'cause
wrong.
neither of us know how to operate a camera.
That's really what it is.
So
Here we go.
hand it to Jules.
So here I am. Okay. Let's
So sorry.
move on from that comment.
I'm getting a little bit different nose here.
Yeah.
After we poured a little more as it opens up, I wonder. I feel like there is a little bit more of that vanilla oaky
Yeah.
texture.
I get a little more vanilla on the nose now.
So we talked about structure. The last thing is body. I think we all think this is pretty light body. Like with
Light
that
body.
acidity, it just slips through the tongue.
Mhm.
Right.
The flavor stays. length of finish, I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say medium.
Bruce?
Yeah, it's not real long, but
Yeah.
again, I think that defining thing for me is, just kind of keeps that acidity thing kind of going. Not so much fruit, but it's real pleasant in that way.
Very good. So,
Yeah.
too good. All right. Let's go with. Well, let's assess the quality. All right. So we're going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about complexity, intensity, and length of finish. We already touched on length of finish. I think if you're probably medium, you're probably not very long. You're medium.
Yeah.
So it's a check, almost a half check mark. Balance, I think, is wonderful.
Yeah, I would agree.
Bruce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say well balanced for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what the alcohol content is, but I can see this well balanced wine being relatively high. I mean, I think you could approach 14.
Could be.
On my first drink, and I think some of this too, I just associate with wines that are a little spicier, like a Zin or something like that, having high alcohol content. And because I got that on my first drink, I was thinking that, but as I continued to drink, I'm like, I don't have that burning where I normally would get
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So-
So you're still in the medium to lower.
That's what I would end up saying. I wouldn't say low, but I mean,
12, half, 13.
yeah.
You want to guess, Bruce? You want to guess alcohol?
You would say like a 12.8,
I'm going to go with
5.
13.
All right, I'll take the over for sure. All right, we'll check the bottle in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so balance, yes. Check mark. Intensity. That might be one that is not super intense.
No.
It's there.
I don't think it's super intense.
It definitely leans more towards easy drinking.
Yeah.
Intensity, Bruce?
It's not real intense at all. I mean, just kind of mellow. Again, not your fruit forward kind of fruit bomb type of thing.
No,
but,
yeah, correct.
kind of even a little bit more, I'd say, on the other side. To me, this is kind of like the standout feature of this. So, I'll say right off the bat, I think this would be something that you could decant
Oh, okay.
and have it, just see what would happen after it's been open for a while and exposed to a lot of air.
Okay, so decanting a wine like this. We have a light wine, not super intense. So if we decanted this wine, what would you hope to get different?
I think with this, you might notice the fruit a little bit more.
Oh,
Actually.
okay.
Yeah.
So when I aerate in my mouth, I actually lose fruit and I start getting a little bit of that spiciness, a little bit of that heat from the alcohol. And it doesn't go fruity. Sometimes when you can aerate it in your mouth or chew on it, it'll go like a fruit burst. But I don't get that with this. Go for it.
Maybe it would soften it. Maybe that's what
And the acidity,
bring it all even further together.
balance.
Yeah.
I'm just getting
It's
a
yum.
little bit of
This is yum.
notes.
Oh, you're getting a lot of oak now. A lot.
Yeah. Not in a bad way.
Okay, so let's talk about complexity. So complexity is going to be, you have your primary flavors, right? We already talked about it. We got some, usually go fruit. So we got quite a bit of fruit. We got some, I think we're both red and black fruits. Then, we did have some spice, some pepper. And then secondary flavors are going to be things like bready, buttery, and then we've been talking a lot about oak. With red, you're going to have more of the oak influence than you are the creamy and bready. So
Right.
definitely have secondary flavors. We already know it's not tertiary because we looked at the color. Looks like a fairly young wine. It's not going to have those leather or tobacco,
Right.
forest floor type tertiary flavors. So I think we're probably borderline complex here. I think we're pretty good. I think it's quite a bit of fruit. We didn't say too many other earthy notes.
No.
Right.
So I'm kind of on the border.
Mm.
All right, last thing I want to do. So I guess if you assess it, you're talking about a very good wine here, as opposed to excellent, but
Right.
definitely. I think it's extremely pleasant. I
Yeah,
think this is
I think it's
absolutely
great.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Would I pay $100 for it? Probably.
No.
Give me your so rating system. For those of you that don't know our rating system or whatever, very simple: 1, 2, or 3. If you rated a 1, that means if I handed it to you, you wouldn't drink it. If you rated it a 2, if I handed it to you, you'd gladly drink it. 3, you would actually purchase it yourself and drink it. So, where are you guys on this? Dose?
Dose.
Dose.
And
Although I think it could, again, with time, this
Mhm.
could be
Could be a
more
3.
than mine. And I would say definitely 3 more.
And I clearly put a qualifier on my 3 because I said I would pay 100. Would I pay 50 for this? Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll just leave it there. Awesome. All right. Any other comments before we try to figure out what it is?
No, I think it's getting better just as in the time that, sitting here and let it air out. It just needed to, kind of stir out its stuff a little bit.
And this is the beauty of open a bottle of wine.
Yes.
This is the experience. You don't have to be nerdy like us and talk about every little detail, but the whole point of a bottle of wine is that it's an experience,
Correct.
right? So, and it changes. You always hear about wine being living. It's a living thing, and that's it. It will change just like us. Some of us get taller. Some of us. I'll just leave it there because I haven't gotten taller yet.
I'm okay.
Okay, I'm really.
Andy!
I got this.
I know you got this, but I got other stuff to do.
All right, let's teach everybody how to break down what could you possibly be drinking in your glass.
Okay, can I tell you what I tell customers? Or do you need to say something else?
No, I probably need to know what you're telling customers.
Okay. So.
This could be scary.
I know, that's not fair. Is this before or after you drink?
Stop. Okay, because sometimes we do the blind flight, and I always I'm like, here's my little hint on like where to start, because heaven knows there's a lot of wine regions and varietals and all that jazz.
Mhm.
So I'm like, first determine is it old world, new world, because you have to have somewhere to start.
Well,
And
let's
then
stop there.
What countries are in
Yes.
those areas?
I'll let you lead this. Let's start there. Old world and new world. So what would you tell somebody to determine old world from new world?
Old world, we're going to say, is basically Europe. Anything
Correct.
outside of that would be new world.
So how do you determine if it's old world? Like, what's the distinct difference between old world and new world? Rules of thumb, as you know, because there's exceptions to everything. Because you have a very new world tasting wine and the old world and vice versa. But general rule of thumb.
This is going to be in Joel's terms.
That's fine. I mean,
So,
we can always edit. So.
Old world's going to have a little more, like, earthy tones to it, generally. I'm generalizing in all of this. But in new world, and obviously try members, but new world, I'm going to say, is more like in your face kind of
I think that's fair.
flavors.
Restraint, the word that Bruce taught me almost 2 years ago now. Holy crap.
I know! You're going to talk about that at the end of this video. You make it that far.
Exactly. I'm sure they turned it on once.
If we make it.
We're just going to play it in the tasting room
I
now.
see.
So people are forced to watch it.
All right, so restraint.
Restraint.
So that's the word that Bruce
like that.
uses
Okay.
to describe the old world.
Old world.
They
Okay.
tend to be
I
more,
like that, Bruce.
and it goes along with what you said.
Can I use that?
Because in the new world, like you said, they're a little bit more sugar, a little bit riper fruits, a little bit more pungent, a little bit more sweetness,
Well, and like Andy used the term fruit bombs. Like I feel like there are going to be fruit bombs in New World.
In the New World over the Old World.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Just don't go up to a customer and say, would you like to be restrained?
Yeah.
Or would you like?
But
a
why is
vacuum?
he looking at me with saying that? Like
Well, I'm just, Andy already knows about restraint.
I know about restraint. Clearly.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh! All right.
Okay. So if
Yes.
that being said,
Yes.
would this be an Old World wine or a New World wine with those parameters?
I'm going to go old.
I was gonna say old,
I'm going to go old.
even though like, and this is the thing, the tricky part about wine, because we also said Old World is going, like we said, restrained, but I also mentioned having more like earthy notes, and we didn't. Besides oak, we didn't go there. There was no barnyard. There was no soil. There was no like
Correct.
herbaceous.
Correct.
But that's why I'm saying that's why wine can be tricky, because we're saying this, but then we're
Well-
like, but we still say Old World.
And let me throw another trick in. I've been tasting a lot of Santa Barbara wines lately, and a lot of these wines are, like younger people, like kind of on the, doing their thing where they're actually trying to pull back
Winemakers?
a lot. Yes, they're trying to let the soil express itself, and these are, I think, when I taste those wines, they're definitely restrained.
Okay.
But you tasted them as well, I think,
Yeah.
Had a couple
as
of-
well.
And
It
usually
reminds
you expect California
Yes.
is a little bit more.
California
Right.
is going to be, yes.
But
and
to your point,
Oh.
these winemakers are
That's
trying to make.
exciting.
they're trying to make something, they're not trying to do old world. They're just trying to say, we're not going to manipulate this a whole lot. And where it's grown, the type of soil and the weather, it doesn't get real warm. It doesn't get real fruity. So, that's what happens.
And that's it too. The Old World tends to be a little bit cooler climate,
Right.
with the exception of maybe
Right.
Spain or in southern Italy. But mostly, you don't get the ripeness of fruit in the cooler climates that you do in most Napa,
Correct.
Columbia
Correct.
Valley.
Correct.
That is interesting
So-
too, just to build on this note of what you're saying that these new winemakers are trying to do at Santa Barbara is letting the soil speak, or
Terroir.
the
Terroir.
Okay,
Yeah.
not Francois. Okay.
Rhymes with Francois.
So anyway, okay, let's back to my point here. That I feel like Old World is more about that tradition and, keeping it the way their ancestors, making wine the way their ancestors did, which obviously that's been around a hell of a lot longer
Yes.
than New World. So
Yeah, there's not only are there laws in the Old World that you have to keep wine
Right.
the same way, but also too tradition.
right.
I mean, y'all seen Fiddler on the Roof, so you know tradition.
Do you want to do the dance?
Do you know what I'm saying?
I've never seen it.
Tradition! Tradition!
All right. Let's not do this.
Anyway, that's not about wine. It should be. Alright, so
I have a different
So,
song that I like.
because then I'll give you some of my favorite dance moves.
what, Rich Man?
Dirty Dancing?
Rich Man?
Yes!
I know, right?
That's my favorite. Oh my gosh, okay.
You've never seen Fiddler on the Roof?
I'm embarrassed to say. I don't think I know a lot of the songs. I don't think I am. Don't
We're
don't
Rich Man.
don't look at me like that.
Alright,
I
Old
grew up in
World.
Southern Indiana.
so we're
Shelby.
Well, that's too bad.
talk about the Old World, right? Alright, terroir down there is amazing.
in
Southern Indiana
Southern Indiana.
for dandelion wine.
Yes.
Stop. Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Old World. So we start with Old World. Then where do we go? Well, you say you talk to customers. You can have them start with Old World and New World.
Okay, because then you're going to try to figure out the grapes. So what grapes are grown in which countries?
Okay.
I keep it very high level.
Okay, if it's Old World, let's put all our clues together.
Okay.
We have a light-colored, high acidic. Let's talk about acidity. Acidity tends to be higher in the cooler climates.
Wait,
Correct.
is this something we sell?
Oh my gosh, no, you're supposed to just try and figure it out. What did I say? The only thing I know about this wine
You're cheating.
I'm evil. Okay, no.
is that
Say that again?
I only know that it's the grape in the region.
Okay.
I know everything about all our wines over there.
I know, that's true. Okay. Fine.
So, Bruce,
Well, the acidity part screams Italian to me.
Italian, okay.
Because in my brief experience, Italian whites and reds can be more acidic.
Why? They want them that way too because of Italian food. And that's the whole point about the old world.
Yeah,
They're always pair the food with the
Yeah,
wines
yeah,
in the old world for sure.
Yeah.
and they weren't looking to traditionally to make things real fruity or do anything again to manipulate the wine. It was just like, okay, we're going to take this out of the vineyard when we can, and typically in Europe it wasn't that warm. Now there are places where it was, but
Tuscany.
right.
Clearly not a Tuscany wine.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
You gotta be closer to the Alps if you're in Italy. Okay,
Yes.
so we'll leave it there. So usually a higher acidic wine tends to be cooler climate. Also too,
Yes.
higher acidity, but also the fruit is going to be more tart as opposed to
Correct.
more ripe. So
Correct.
sun will ripen fruit.
Right.
So we did have a little bit of black fruits in here, some blueberries, some black cherries for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just putting the clues out on the table. All right. So old world, possibly Italy. What's your guess? One country.
I'm not gonna.
You're gonna flip a coin, aren't you? You're not gonna go against Bruce, are you?
I am. I'm gonna say Spain.
Spain. Okay. Rationale.
Because I already think I know what it is.
Ooh.
But I don't know
Is
that
there
it
gonna
is.
be a mic drop here?
But I don't know if
Way ahead. Way ahead of me.
why.
So
I have
we're
no idea.
old world, Italy and Spain.
Unless Andy is like trying to really trick us. Is it like very obscure?
Classic grape from a classic region. That's what we've done for the first 2 years of the wine vault. Try and nail the classic grape, classic region. So we're
Andy is really good at a poker face. Like I would not play with him because like no one knows. I don't know.
And it could be Bordeaux as well, but it's not a blend. So Bordeaux are typically blends. And I know you love your Bordeaux.
I love me
so
some
I'm
Bordeaux.
Not surprising
I
at
feel
all
like
if
Bordeaux
that's
I
what
would have
this
had
is.
a little more earth.
Let me give you a TO on this. First clue. When we looked at it, depth of color.
It's really light.
Really light. What are the Bordeaux grapes?
Merlot,
Really dark.
Cabernet.
So I think a 100% Merlot, possibly from the right bank. I think even from the left bank, you're not going to be able to see as clearly.
Okay.
Yeah. And we didn't say anything about herbaceousness.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
those are tend to be a little bit more green fruits or green vegetables. Like green pepper, asparagus. Okay, so that first clue is taking me out of Bordeaux for sure.
Okay.
And so I'm worried about Spain because I don't know too many light-skinned grapes in Spain.
Now that I looked at the color again, I'm like, oh no, that's not right.
Spain, yeah. I mean, it's not ripe enough to be
Right.
Spanish.
Right. It would. Yeah.
Here's Spain wines in a nutshell, and I'm just gonna throw this out. Spain reds, high alcohol, darker fruits,
Right.
darker skins typically, riper fruits. If I didn't already say that.
Mhm.
So those typically are, and we already said that you didn't get much alcohol on this, and you might be right. I don't, like I said, I don't know. You didn't get much alcohol. Obviously, not super dark.
Right.
Not many black fruits. You could be in Rioja. You could get a little lighter, like a Crianza, possibly.
Mhm.
But I think it's not going to be this light.
Right.
And most Riojas are blended, even though, well,
I know.
I shouldn't say that, but I think it's
Well, the
yeah,
El
it's not.
Coto is.
Coto's not.
Well, and I'll just go another place. Like
Yeah, this is.
I've had some wines from Sicily recently that, you know, again, they're not
High elevation, so it doesn't have to be far north.
extremely hot.
Yeah.
Really hot weather. Grapes can get very ripe, but the kind of grapes that they are don't get. I mean, they get ripe, obviously,
Yeah.
but they don't get that full.
Yeah.
And they're grown in volcanic soil, so they end up being, you know, well, lots of times kind of minerally, and it kind of offsets, I think, some of that fruit. So, again, just.
Are we going somewhere, Bruce?
No, I'm not going anywhere, but this is what makes it tough.
Yeah.
Because I think the world is kind of changing a little bit more to where you just can't say, oh, this is a
100%.
world wine from someplace really high. Because there's young people down there in Sicily that are doing, you know, like crazy stuff and making, you know, kind of a lighter style wine like this. Pick sooner.
Yep.
You know,
That's it. If you also too, if you harvest your grapes earlier, you're going to have higher acidity. But I think you'd also have more tartar fruit as well. All right, so let's keep going. Possible grape varietals. I like how you're slow playing this, so Bruce goes first.
So, based on everything that you said.
Yep.
And so, I'm not going to rule out Gamay. I
Okay,
think it could be that.
that's fair.
I am going to rule out Cab Franc. I don't think it's that because it doesn't have that, you know.
No
Would
herbaceousness.
the cab from be darker or no?
Typically, it can.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like our Chenin is pretty deep,
Right.
and most New Worlds tend to be pretty deep.
Yeah.
But no, the color can be very, very light,
Mm-hmm.
but you have way more tannin
Yeah.
And that herbaceousness.
and herbaceousness.
Yeah. Green pepper.
Yes. Yes, green pepper.
No hint.
So when we say herbaceousness, that's greenness.
And so this could be like a German red
Okay.
or Austrian red.
Okay. Spotsburgunder is probably
Spotburgunder.
Burgunder.
Let's just say that 5 times.
I'm gonna have to go back to my other job.
Okay, we'll wrap this up. Okay, so do you have any great guesses on the grape?
Pressure's on. I think, Bruce, it's one of the great pleasures about a wine like this is that you can sit here and drink it and still, you know, kind of find some new things with it, you know, as you go along, and it doesn't wear out your palate at all. It's not, you know, it's not so heavy. So
There's no
you
money
know,
on the line.
I think it would be darker maybe if it was an Italian red.
Okay.
And it really doesn't taste like Beaujolais.
So let me help you along a little bit.
Okay.
First clue, light skin grape. Thin skin.
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Okay, why didn't either of you say Pinot Noir?
I just figured that would be too easy.
I'm not trying to
It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that much of that kind of red cherry,
So typically, I
cola
would
type
say,
thing. You know,
like
it's
a
not like
Pinot
that.
Noir, I would think, like I want to say fresh or like ripe fruits.
So you're gonna say it's red burgundy.
So you're saying this is not New World Pinot Noir. Because those, to me, when you describe that, that tells me Pinot Noir. Like
Right.
the Sonoma Coast.
Right.
Boom,
Yes.
fresh, floral, fruit,
Right.
wonderful nose, like this, wow, right?
Okay.
This is not
Yeah.
Sonoma Coast.
So Old World.
Burgundy.
So, you guys are all over the old world.
And we're all wrong.
If you had a Burgundian style Pinot Noir in the New World, where would you be?
Oregon. Probably.
You are correct. That's where you are. You are in
Jesus.
Oregon.
Wait a minute. Isn't there like places in Oregon that like Italian food or something?
Yeah, they have Italian restaurants in Oregon.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
Even
There's an
like,
Olive Garden on Main.
no, but this is so
Something.
interesting because if you think of our Ponzi,
Yeah.
that's
Oh God!
nothing.
Don't tell me it's that.
It's not. But I'm saying, that is like would be the difference of like old world versus new world style. But this is new world.
And it would prove my point too. Well, not.
You're trying to be right. You're gonna figure out how to be right.
But I mean, how New World people are kind of pulling things back.
Yeah.
A little bit and
I feel like
making
Oregon
wines
is doing a
more
lot of that too.
Burgundian style.
All right,
So-
so let's
Yeah.
walk through this, right?
Okay.
So, like I said, I don't know anything other than what you guys know.
Andy likes to trick us and like basically us question our abilities.
Yes.
No, you see who's
Now he's
not
gonna, he's
West
gonna dock our
East,
pay
because I
because of this. I'm gonna lose a day's work.
Well, I am losing a day's work. But not the wine ball. Okay.
This is work, dear.
I know.
You're learning.
So I don't know anything about it either. It is Croft Vineyard,
Oh, Willamette
Aberdeen.
Valley.
Willamette Valley, 12 months aged,
What year?
13.2 alcohol.
I win.
I
I
win.
win. My paycheck is restored.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, formed by Lee and Chancey Croft, the vineyard was planted with Pommard and Wallenwill clones. So there's your Burgundian, right?
Right.
In 1982, 85,
So
sorry.
old vines,
Old vines.
relatively.
Sits 380 feet in elevation. Usually, Willamette Valley tends to be cooler, right? With good sun, nice cool breezes. So you get 380 foot elevation. Easy for you to say. Let's see. Here we go. Talking about the clay. Okay. Silty clay loam and uplifted seabed over sandstone parent mineral giving the wine a particular intensity without being overly tannic or overripe.
Okay.
So I think that's exactly what that is.
That's cool.
It is a 2017, so it is right, I'd say right in the drinking window.
Yeah, it's really fresh.
So really, really
Really
nice Pinot. I don't know the retail price off the top of my head. I think you're in the 50 ballpark. Okay,
I
so
saw that there's only 6 barrels.
oh no kidding.
Mhm.
So we got a small
So,
production. It's
yeah.
kind of what we like to have here. Small production,
Mm-hmm.
unique wines you're not gonna find at
Yeah.
Total Wine, anywhere else. If you find it at a restaurant, this would be okay. Well, let's get into that actually. I think, and then I know
Yeah,
we'll let
okay.
you go. All right, ageability. Bruce, how long would this thing age? What would you
Oh,
say?
I think you can keep this for
That high acidity, and that's really
it's
important.
already 27.
Exactly. Yeah, it's already 5 years.
Yeah.
So you need structure to age a wine. A mediocre wine with not much structure isn't going to age.
Yeah.
This has wonderful acidity. Like I think we talked a lot about that a little bit.
They're a bad influence, okay?
All right, so you have nice acidity. You probably have 5 years to drink this. Would you push it past that? Bruce?
5 more years, you mean?
5 more years.
5 more?
Yes.
No, not
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
So like
3
10
to 5.
years total. Because what happens when you age red wine, you start losing those fruit characteristics. You start getting that leather and tobacco in exchange for it.
If it's there.
If it's
Yes.
there, correct.
Right.
So drinking window, I think it's ready to roll.
Agreed.
It's ready to roll.
Yeah.
If it's in your cellar, drink it the next 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
Okay. Decant. So you mentioned decanting. Should this wine be decanted?
Personally, in a Pinot Noir especially, New World, or Old World, I find when you open them up, they just got something that's kind of, they need to just
Burn off.
roll off.
Yeah,
Totally. So I throw it in a decanter and pour it in a glass and let it sit there
How long?
20 minutes. If it's
Okay,
just in
yeah.
the glass.
Nothing substantial.
No,
just to
nothing. Yeah.
pop it off.
Right.
It's not like a deep dark cab where you might need an hour or so.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes my wife comes up and drinks it before I can get to it. But
Because I mean, even the
Yeah.
difference between the first pour when Andy opened the bottle and then us talking, going through that glass and then going back was, to me, it was a little more
Right.
smooth. I don't know what you want to say.
I do want to say something that I feel like this a lot. Sometimes a Pinot, there's enough tannin and enough dryness for me not to be able to continually drink it. Like it's really hard for me to drink a red wine. I mean, however long we've been going.
Right.
This is that acidity just allows
Yeah.
me to just keep going. So,
Yeah.
I love it. All right, what makes the wine unique or quintessential or noteworthy? So what would you say? So I think you have a classic Burgundian style Willamette Valley Pinot. So that's quintessential.
Mm-hmm.
What are we missing that took you away from? Well, that I will say, one of the hardest wines for me to guess is a Burgundian style Pinot because I always want to say Burgundy.
okay,
So
is that what you think this was?
I think this is more Burgundian than the Sonoma Coast. Like,
Right.
if I knew it was New World, I would have guessed. Well, you did as soon as I said, "What's the most Burgundian style?" You
Yeah.
said Oregon.
I mean, because California is not gonna. I mean, they're gonna do California
They are.
cold.
Well, and they are.
In
Well,
your face.
Except for Sonoma Coast, you do get that really nice light
Right.
ability, and then you go further south, and then it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a light colored cap.
Yeah.
Well, with the cheap stuff, but. So I don't know. What would you say, Bruce?
What was the question?
Quintessential. What makes it not quintessential if it's not Willamette?
I just think the high acidity and the restraint is not something you would typically associate it with.
I agree.
Put this next to the Ponzi, or
Oh,
Right.
the pie's gonna be way fruitier.
Yeah.
I think even the
I mean, I-100 was like, there is no way this is not Old World.
Okay. Yeah, and
Like-
both of you guys were. Yeah, and you let him say that first.
she trapped me.
Next time, I'm just gonna record the video, but not be on the video.
We've got another bottle to do.
Oh yeah, we have. You got another hour or two. Okay.
That's not true.
She doesn't know that yet.
Okay, what would you pair this light wine with? We talked about, okay, so Old World likes to pair their wines with food. So in Burgundy, let's say we're in
Let
Burgundy.
me ask this question: with this wine, have you ever had it with salmon?
No, 100%.
You got to try it.
You think?
Oh,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, of course, it's well known that like
I would have said
what's
red
grown
meat.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like they don't grow salmon. On
They
the
don't
farm.
grow salmon.
No, I don't think so. But
The fish oil.
a river runs through.
So let me ask you this. So salmon is high-fat fish, right? That's kind of like the classification.
Yeah.
So what do you need to balance off the fat?
The acidity.
Okay,
Yeah.
acidity
Or
and some
tannins.
tannin. Yes. And this has both.
I've had it before.
Okay.
And I just think
It's a wonderful.
it's
Okay.
magical. So I think people should try that at some point.
Alright.
Again, not a salmon patty,
Right.
Like my mom used to make, but like a fish.
Out of the can.
Yeah, like a salmon.
Ohio River salmon.
Yeah. That's probably what slugs is what we call it.
Crawfish,
Yeah.
salmon patty.
Yeah. So it's,
Alright.
you grew up on a farm. I call that gross.
No,
We ate a
I
lot
was
of
They have different kind of
almost-
patties.
I was almost vegetarian on my farm.
Oh,
I wanted to
you
be.
ate livers and gizzards and
Alright, so what occasion would you drink this? So you are probably talking, like I think it's in the ballpark of 50. So What occasion? A Monday afternoon. Cheers.
I mean, that's what you do at the wine vault. It's like a little bit jaded here, like, on.
Great charcuterie wine.
Okay.
I would
think.
agree that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great with that. It's just
Because I was going to say, like, baby meat,
flexible.
like
This
a
is
peer to
some- yeah.
peer.
You could do this with Thanksgiving, I think. There's all those crazy flavors coming out of that. This would, not overwhelm anything, and the acid would help kind of like cut through stuff and, kind of
Is there a
cleanse your
heavier
palate a
foods?
little bit. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the points of a Pinot is it's very versatile.
Yeah.
Right.
Very versatile to be able to balance a
Right.
meal.
But like a California Pinot, something really rich I don't think would accomplish as much as this one. So, and people might drink it at first and think, ugh, but then when they started eating food with it,
You start to see the magic happen. Awesome.
yeah.
All right. Yeah,
So now that we've made fools out of ourselves, I have.
I'm so thankful I knew what the wine was.
But I do think as I read this label, these
Mhm.
people have definitely Italian roots. So I think they've got one foot in Italy, and that's what tripped me here.
It definitely is a cool old world looking label.
It is.
I think this wine is just fine.
Croft.
If I'm gonna tell you this is
Italian.
it?
Yeah, Croft.
Why is Andy believing him? Because we're a bottle in, like,
Speak for yourself.
here is he's doing exactly what you said. He's trying to prove his point that he was right.
Bruce was
he
right
had.
from the nose.
What was the last one I had?
There's some Italian in that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about takeaways. So, I think, when I think of Willamette Valley, I actually do think of Burgundian style, the closest you're going to get to Burgundian style Pinot Noir. I feel like what surprised me about this, because I hadn't tasted it before, it was lighter. Like, I would have gone, I don't know where I was. Thank God I didn't have to go anywhere. But I would have said, okay, it could possibly be Burgundy. And I know you said Gamay,
Yeah.
right?
I
And
did say that.
I just don't know if
It
the
didn't have
nose
that,
had enough
yeah.
Like,
Pinot
the Gamay
character.
was throwing me off there. I'm like, I so want to say Pinot Noir, but I am so confused.
Be more confident. You got this. I know. When he said Gamay, I was like, oh.
No, because then we all start throwing each other off, and then you're like, I don't know which way to go.
So, what should a person coming in here, wine vault, and wanting our recommendation on a wine, or thinking that we know something about wine, what should they think about us at this point?
That we drink during the day a lot.
Well, we practice a lot.
We do.
We do.
We do all the research for you. Okay, so let me go back to the takeaways. So, who would you recommend this wine to? You first.
You mean?
Who would you like? If somebody said I like I don't know light reds, okay. Of all the Pinots that we have, where would you fit this? Like price point, you're kind of in the middle.
I mean, I would say it's lighter than others that we have.
What other descriptors would you use?
The acidity.
Which makes it super easy drinking.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I know, because
if people can get past that, but like a lot of people can't get past that.
And
Right.
I think so. This is where you guys were in the old world. The old world loves that acidity because it goes so well with food. Here in America, we mostly drink our red wines like
Just
this.
drinking, yeah.
And like I said, this one with
Because
the
I
acidity.
almost said, like, if you're saying, if it weren't for the price, because otherwise I would want to enjoy it with others. If it's a more expensive bottle, I would rather share it. But because of how easy drinking it is, I'm like, if I am having, like, sitting outside with a fire,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's- yeah.
But
So yeah, if somebody walked in and they were like, yeah, I don't know, I like light wines, but dry, but really, easy to drink. This fits that to a T.
Yeah.
It's fruity enough for the palate
Yeah.
to get people interested in.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah, it is good.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you, Andy.
All right,
Cheers.
cheers.
Thank you.
Well done,
Yes.
guys. Thanks for joining us.
See you
See you
next
next time.
time.